Part 24. 9 generations of villains, the heroines have all turned evil. Author, Fu Zituo. Chapter 231. The Yugui sect is 100 miles away. When the Yugui patriarch led the sect's strong men and hundreds of spirit boats to arrive here, the sky was full of ghosts. The ghosts were all bearing their fangs and claws, with red eyes. The ghost energy gathered by tens of thousands of ghosts gathered into clouds, covering the bright sun and blocking the sunlight. Wherever you can see, it is dark. In front of the 10,000 ghosts, there are 100 ghosts with condensed ghost bodies and strong ghost energy. They are the ghost lord Sui and his ghost generals. And next to Sui, there is a four-tailed ghost fox. Seeing the spectacular scene, the Yugui patriarch laughed hee. Ancestor, this Sui is worthy of being the ghost lord of the abyss. This scene, this momentum. It's quite spectacular, the great elder Xuanhuan exclaimed. 10,000 ghosts come out of the abyss, covering the sky and the sun. Such a scene is really rare in 1,000 years, another elder spoke. Hearing this, the other great elders of the ghost control sect all nodded continuously. They felt so stable. At the beginning, they were actually a little unsure. After all, the Nine-Yan patriarch was overwhelming the central region. But look at the strength and formation of Gui Ling Xuanhuan, which is not inferior to the first-class sects at all. It is absolutely a wise choice for the ghost control sect to join hands with him. At this time, the two parties were facing each other several miles apart. Glancing at Sui, another great elder said, Ancestor, why do I think Sui looks unfriendly? As if he is here to seek revenge. You know shit. Before the ghost control patriarch could reply, Xuanhuan answered, have you ever seen a ghost with a good complexion? Ghosts are inherently cold, do you still expect the other party to greet you with a smile? This statement once again won the approval of the other great elders. The ghost control patriarch nodded and agreed, my sect and the ghost abyss also have quite a grudge. The alliance is only temporary at this time, so naturally they won't be too enthusiastic. Forget it, since it is my ghost sect that proposed the alliance, then my ghost sect needs to be a little more tolerant of ghosts. I'll go and say hello after thinking for a while, she said again. After that, the ghost control patriarch instantly floated several miles away and came not far from Sui. Fellow deist is worthy of being the lord of the abyss ghosts. 10,000 ghosts come out of the abyss, covering the sky and the sun. The scene is quite spectacular, she complimented. Sui was silent, not knowing what she was thinking. Fellow deist, are you worried about the Nine-Yan patriarch? The ghost control patriarch smiled indifferently and said, you and I are united, and our strength is enough to sweep the entire central region. The Nine-Yan patriarch is only in the state of spirit and soul. Although he has combat power, he is not as strong as the peak. Sui still didn't reply. This made the ghost control ancestor frown, and asked again, do you have other concerns? I do have concerns. Come forward and I will tell you quietly. This time Sui finally responded. The ghost control ancestor did not doubt him and immediately floated to her side. My concerns. Sui smiled grimly and suddenly shouted, it's you, old woman. As she spoke, she had already slapped out a palm. A simple palm, but it contained all the power of the Nirvana realm, causing the sky and the earth to change color. The ghost control ancestor was shocked immediately. But the distance between the two was too close, and in the case of intentional calculation, she had no way to avoid this palm, and could only use her body to resist. The two came into contact. With a boom, sound, a wave of air visible to the naked eye instantly burst out for hundreds of miles. Under the air wave, the ghosts and monks with lower cultivation, just touched, and they exploded and died directly. The roar it produced was like thunder in the sky, which made people tremble. After the air wave disappeared, the ghost-controlling ancestor took Sui's full-strength attack head-on. Although his life was not in danger, his face was pale and his body was swaying. "How shameless," the ghost-controlling ancestor cursed loudly. In response, Sui just sneered. She was a ghost, not a human. Whether she had face or not did not affect the nature of a ghost at all. Seeing that the attack did not hit, Sui did not waste words, turned her palm into a claw, and grabbed the ghost-controlling ancestor again. At the same time, hundreds of ghost generals were dispatched, surrounded the ghost-controlling ancestor, and then rushed up. If it were normal, these ghost generals would be like ants to the ghost-controlling ancestor. But at this moment, she was already injured, and had to face Sui's full-strength attack head-on. For a while, she could not do anything with these ghost generals, and could only deal with them tiredly. Soon, Sui slapped the ghost control patriarch again, knocking him down from the air, sending dust and gravel flying all over the sky. Cough, cough. The dust dissipated, and the ghost control patriarch kept coughing. This happened so fast that the ghost control sect members were dumbfounded. They couldn't understand what was going on. Isn't it a friendly army? Why is their own ancestor being beaten up at this moment? Bold. Xuanhuan was the first to react, holding a spiritual weapon and trying to step forward to support. Seeing this, the other supreme elders also hurried to act. But everyone took a step forward. Wait, Sui raised his hand to stop him, saying, "Let's talk first." Talk. When the ghost control sect members heard this, their flaws were about to burst. Why not talk before taking action? Now their own ancestor has been beaten to the point of vomiting blood, what's the point of talking? What they don't know is, the reason why Sui took the initiative was to increase his chances of winning. At this moment, the ghost-controlling ancestor was injured, and Ghost Ridge Soul Abyss had an absolute advantage, so they could naturally have a chat. In any case, the ghost-controlling sect was furious, and they were ready to go all out and fight a big battle. Xuanhuan and other supreme elders rushed out holding various spiritual weapons, and hundreds of spiritual boats were also filled with various spiritual cannons. Humph. Sui was disdainful and snorted coldly. The voice came out with her breath, like the pressure of heaven, which immediately made Xuanhuan and others' bodies and blood stagnate. At this moment, everyone in the Yugui sect understood a reality. In front of the late Nirvana, even if they all went together, they would not be sent to death. Sui! The Yugui patriarch suddenly shouted and jumped from the ground to the air. Her breath was disordered, and there was a trace of blood at the corner of her mouth. She said in disbelief, "Although the Ghost sect and Giwen have a grudge, why do you turn against the Julian sect now that the enemy is in front of you?" "Because of one person," Sui replied in seconds. "Who?" "Zhang Chen." The Yugui patriarch was silent, and his mouth twitched. She had never dreamed of it, and she couldn't understand it at all. Why did Zhang Chen's name appear here? She couldn't help but guess. Could it be that Zhang Chen had colluded with Sui long ago, and his purpose was to deal with the Yugui sect? If so. Thinking of this, the Yugui patriarch's eyes flashed with cold light. If that's the case, then she can only fight to the death. As if sensing her thoughts, Sui said bluntly, "I have already said when we joined forces that I want one person. And this person is Zhang Chen. Hand over Zhang Chen, and our agreement will still be valid." As soon as these words came out, the people of the Yugui sect were speechless. You want Zhang Chen, you should have said it earlier. They can't wait to get rid of this scourge. It was originally an extremely simple matter, why did you have to make it so complicated? Now it's good. My ancestor was beaten and injured, and now handing over Zhang Chen, isn't it a sign of cowardice? Do you still want the face of the Ghost sect? Hand over Zhang Chen, and I will only take 40% of the Julian sect's foundation, Sui spoke again. This. The Yugui patriarch was moved. Face is not as important as interests after all. Okay, I will ask the sect's Supreme Elder to bring Zhang Chen here. After some consideration, the Yugui Patriarch nodded. But as soon as the voice fell, an elder of the Yugui sect who stayed behind arrived in full view of everyone. After glancing at Sui, the elder whispered to the Yugui Patriarch, saying, "Ancestor, it's not good. Zhang Chen has escaped. Xiao Hong Ai and Chen Sheng are fighting with elderly in the sect. Xiao Hong Ai and Chen Sheng are both in the supernatural realm, and elderly is no match for them, so he can only use the sect's formation to fight back. The aftermath of the battle between the three has almost destroyed the Yugui sect. If this continues, our sect will sooner or later become a ruin. 9 generations of villains, the heroines have all turned evil." Author, Fu Zituo. Chapter 232. After hearing these words, the ghost control ancestor was stunned. In total, she led the ghost sect to leave for only a few hours. But Zhang Chen was different. Not only did he run away, he almost destroyed the ghost control sect. At this moment, the ghost control ancestor wanted to ask Zhang Chen, "Is it really necessary? Is it really necessary to harm the ghost control sect? Will he leave people alive?" Then, the ghost control ancestor thought of another question. Now, how can she hand Zhang Chen over to Sui? If she told the truth, would Sui believe it? Zhang Chen has left the ghost control sect and his whereabouts are unknown. In the end, the ghost control ancestor had to bite the bullet and speak. "It seems that you are determined not to hand him over." Sui's eyes were colder. The ghost control ancestor was speechless. After all, she had agreed to Sui's conditions a second ago, but now she said this again. Not to mention Sui, she herself found it unbelievable. "Hand over Zhang Chen. Otherwise." Sui narrowed her eyes, her beautiful eyes full of coldness, and said, "Otherwise, the Yugui sect will be destroyed today." Ah! The Yugui Patriarch sighed. At this moment, she really understood. Zhang Chen. He can really bring disaster to the Yugui sect. There is no point in saying more. After throwing a healing pill into his mouth, the Yugui Patriarch had to say, "Zhang Chen is not in the ghost section. If you don't believe it, then let's fight." Sui frowned slightly. "Sister, Zhang Chen must be in the Juyan section. You can't believe a word of what the Yugui sect people say," Xuanhuan reminded. Sui nodded and felt that it made sense. Whether it was the 9 reincarnations or this life, the reputation of the Yugui sect was notoriously bad. Such a sect without morality, naturally, can't be trusted. At this point, the only way is to rob. "Xuanhuan, you don't have much time, go find Zhang Chen first." Sui straightened his expression. "Okay." Xuanhuan nodded in agreement. Then, 10,000 ghosts rushed to the Yugui sect, and Sui fought with the Yugui Patriarch. Xuanhuan took the opportunity to leave, running all the way to the Yugui sect. No one noticed. In the dense forest dozens of miles away from the battle site between Guiling Xuanhuan and Yugui sect, Patriarch Julian sat cross-legged on the jade coffin, and Patriarch Lanyun stood behind him. The two of them explored the battle site with their spiritual senses, eating melons and watching the show. "Senior, it was a close call. If it weren't for the internal strife between Guiling Xuanhuan and Yugui sect, Julian sect might have a big disaster today." Patriarch Lanyun Fantong sighed. "Humph. Big disaster." Patriarch Julian was disdainful. "They are just 2 juniors, they can't make any big waves. If it weren't for the sudden incident, I would have taken action just now to suppress the female ghost and the old woman." Fantong had no doubt about this. He had watched the 9 life retracing so many times, so he naturally knew the awesomeness of Juyan Patriarch, and immediately gave him a thumbs up. "Senior, what should we do now?" Fantong asked again. "Follow Zhang Chen quietly. Wherever he goes, we go." Juyan Patriarch blurted out. Fan Tong nodded, thinking it was okay. After all, this way, more people can feel their pain. But before that, there is something to do. Juyan Patriarch smiled slyly again. What is it? Fan Tong was puzzled. Of course it's moving things. Juyan Patriarch stroked his beard. The Yugui sect has come out in full force, and the sect is empty now. It's the best time to take advantage of the fire and move out its foundation. Senior is wise. Fan Tong admired it very much. On the other side, most of the originally magnificent sects have now become ruins. Relying on the sect formation, Old Li huddled in the sect master's hall, struggling to resist external attacks. Outside, the phoenix fire was raging and the laughter was wild. Xiao Hong Ai and Chen Sheng were breaking the formation. The two were not in a hurry. Because Zhang Chen had already left the Yugui sect, all they needed to do was buy time for Zhang Chen to escape. Chen Sheng. Xiao Hong Ai. If the ancestor returns, he will crush you to ashes, Li Lao cursed in the hall. Xiao Hong Ai and Chen Sheng both sneered. Although the two were here, they actually used their spiritual sense to observe the movements of the Yugui Patriarch. Li Lao didn't know, but the two knew it very well. Now that Sui had turned against them, the Yugui Patriarch might not be able to come back. That's why the two of them made a big fuss in the Yugui sect, planning to destroy most of the Yugui sect first, and then go to meet Zhang Chen. Peak Master, is it almost done? Yes, Master, we should hurry to meet up with the eldest brother. Two shouts came from below. It was Lin Mubai and Zhang Hu. Zhang Chen slipped away very quickly. Maybe it was too much trouble, or maybe he forgot. Anyway, he didn't bring these two people with him. Just when Xiao Hong Ai and Chen Sheng were almost satisfied and ready to leave, a fox with a body of orchid and four tails suddenly came from outside. Xuanhuan didn't want to pay attention to Xiao Hong Ai and Lin Mubai, and went directly to Chen Sheng and asked, "Old man, where is Zhang Chen?" Chen Sheng was stunned when he heard it. The appearance of the fox in front of him made him feel very unfamiliar. And the ghost aura that was constantly emitting and gradually disappearing proved that this fox was still a ghost fox that was about to die. "It's me, Xuanhuan." "Old man, there is no time to explain, take me to see Zhang Chen," Xuanhuan said anxiously. "Xuanhuan." Chen Sheng fell from a high altitude to the front of the fox. He only knew the Nine Heavens ghost fox, but not the Nine Abyss ghost fox, so he looked at Xuanhuan and marveled at it. "As for letting Xuanhuan see Zhang Chen?" Chen Sheng said. "Impossible." Although he didn't know why Xuanhuan became like this, since Zhang Chen said it was a trouble, he would never allow the fox in front of him to get close to his young master. Xuanhuan was very anxious. But no matter how she begged, Chen Sheng still had a stern face and said nothing. "Let it go." After a long time, Xiao Hong Ai finally spoke. Lin Mubai nodded and agreed very much. The two saw at a glance that Xuanhuan had become a ghost fox and would never forget it again, so naturally they would not stop Xuanhuan from seeing Zhang Chen. But Chen Sheng remained unmoved. Helplessly, Xiao Hong Ai had to send a message to Xuanhuan and told the latter the meeting place with Zhang Chen. "You, the master, don't seem to be that bad." After saying this, Xuanhuan left quickly. Looking at its back, Chen Sheng wanted to stop it. But after thinking about it, he gave up the idea. For some reason, he just let out a long sigh. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. 9 generations of villains, the heroines have all turned evil. Author, Fu Zituo. Chapter 233. When Zhu Shuang found Zhang Chen, it was already several hours later. Its figure has become extremely illusory, and its ghostly aura is quickly disappearing. At this moment, Zhang Chen was sitting in an open space, crossing his legs and closing his eyes, waiting quietly. Xuanhuan stepped forward anxiously. But after taking a step, it stopped again. The belief that supported it in burning its body and refining its soul was to meet Zhang Chen, and even if it died, it would be in Zhang Chen's arms. But at this moment, it hesitated. Glancing at his body, it felt sad. Today, it is no longer as white as snow, but a ghost fox with an orchid body. Zhang Chen most likely wouldn't recognize it. The name Xuanhuan seems so incompatible with it at this time. Xuanhuan asked himself. If you go to see Zhang Chen now, what can you say? Apologize for forgetting? But the damage caused by this kind of thing cannot be compensated for by an apology. What's more, it forgot Zhang Chen not once or twice, but dozens of times in 9 lifetimes. Again. If you really apologize, you must say that you have learned about the 9th life recall. Xuanhuan couldn't do it. It cannot allow Zhang Chen to be immersed in the sorrow of the 9th life because of his own willfulness. In this life, Zhang Chen smiled happily. It didn't want to see Zhang Chen in white with a helpless expression on his back. Finally, Xuanhuan did not approach Zhang Chen, but jumped up to an ancient tree, lay down on the branches, and stared at the black figure. Zhang Chen, you must be good in this life. In this life, you no longer need to protect me, but you must protect yourself. If one day you think of the white fox across the mountains, go and see me under the enlightenment tree. Although I'm not buried there, that's where you and I first met. Zhang Chen. It whispered. His voice became softer and softer, and by the end he was crying. It was difficult to restrain the urge to throw herself into Zhang Chen's arms. But it can't. It has been selfish and willful for 9 lives. At least in this life, it wants to be more sensible. Before I die, I will be satisfied if I can take a look at you from a distance. It tried to convince itself. That's obviously the case. This is obviously how it should be. But at this moment, it felt heartbroken and heartbroken. Time continues to pass. As the ghost energy dissipated, Xuanhuan's figure became more illusory and his thoughts became blurred. It didn't dare to close its eyes, fearing that if it closed, it would never wake up again. It tries to bite itself. I want to use this method to keep myself awake. Ken. Zhang Chen, I'm tired, Xuanhuan finally murmured. It doesn't want to give up. But time has come and it can no longer exist here. Suddenly, it remembered that it once told Zhang Chen that it would marry the latter after transforming. Now that I think about it carefully, it seems that you have never promised me directly. Xuanhuan smiled palely. 9 reincarnations. Every time it mentioned this matter, Zhang Chen would always respond with silence. Now that I think about it, maybe Zhang Chen is not sure about the outcome at all. After all, in 9 reincarnations, he has never been the one who can achieve happiness. If there is a next life, even if you don't marry me, I will stay by your side for the rest of my life. Xuanhuan forced a smile. Say it. It couldn't hold it any longer and finally closed its eyes. Its world fell into darkness, and there was a figure in white, walking farther and farther into the void. And just when it was about to lose consciousness completely. Little fox, meet again, a familiar voice sounded from my ears. After spending all his strength, Xuanhuan finally opened his eyes. Instantly, tears streamed down my face. Because the person who appeared in front of it was Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen didn't know when he came to this towering ancient tree from the open space in the distance. At this moment, in the 9th reincarnation, Zhang Chen's words came to mind. Xuanhuan, it's okay, no matter how many times you forget me, I will help you remember me. No matter where you are, I will find you. No matter what you become, I can recognize you instantly. Yes. Xuanhuan sighed in his heart. The man in front of it can always help it remember everything. Always fulfills his promise and never fails to deliver. 9 reincarnations. After it transformed, Zhang Chen found it. This life. Even if it wants to be a bad guy, even if it becomes a Xuanhuan ghost fox, Zhang Chen still recognizes it and finds it. Xuanhuan has never felt so happy. But this happiness is mixed with deep distress. It felt sorry for Zhang Chen's stupidity. 9 reincarnations. Zhang Chen has always been persevering in doing good and doing his best to fulfill his promise, never thinking about himself. This life. Although he clearly planned to be a bad guy, Zhang Chen still fulfilled his promise. It decided to get to know Zhang Chen again. And this encounter and acquaintance will never be forgotten again until death. Wiping the tears from the corners of her eyes, Xuanhuan smiled and said, "Yes, humans, we meet again. What's your name?" "Zhang Chen, what about you?" "I used to have a name, but the moment I saw you, I seem to have forgotten it." "Weird fox, in that case, how about I get one for you?" "Okay. No matter what name it is, I will remember it forever." "Well, let's call her Xuanhuan." Xuanhuan was stunned. It had originally thought. In this life, Zhang Chen would give it a different name. But it didn't expect. It was no longer the 9 heavens ghost fox, no longer the white fox as white as frost, but it was still named Xuanhuan. "Why Xuanhuan?" Xuanhuan asked. "You are the 9 abyss ghost fox, so naturally you have Zhu as your surname. As for Xuan." Speaking of this, Zhang Chen held Xuanhuan in his arms, stroked her hair and said, "I'm too lazy to think of another one." Hearing this, Xuanhuan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. She wanted to complain, but she had completely lost her strength. The loss of ghost energy made its consciousness blurry again. It thought it was not afraid of death. But now it understood. It was afraid. Afraid that after death, it would never see Zhang Chen again, and would never be able to talk to Zhang Chen again. If possible. It wanted to accompany Zhang Chen to travel all over the world and stop all enemies for Zhang Chen. If possible. It really wanted to marry Zhang Chen after transforming. But now, the only thing waiting for her is death. Even so, it does not regret it. Because in this life, it can really die in Zhang Chen's arms while retaining its memory. "Zhang Chen, you smell so good." Closing her eyes, Xuanhuan made a sound like a dream. "Nonsense." Zhang Chen straightened his expression, "You are no longer the 9 heavens ghost fox, how can you smell the goodness and evil of people's hearts?" "But I can smell it, smell your kindness, smell your goodness, smell everything about you." "Strange fox. Silly human." The conversation came to an abrupt end. Xuanhuan completely lost consciousness, and the body condensed by the ghost energy gradually began to disintegrate. Seeing this, Zhang Chen hurriedly took out a ghost blue crystal. The crystal emitted a rich blue light. Under the blue light, Xuanhuan's ghost energy not only did not dissipate, but became more condensed. "Hey!" Zhang Chen sighed, "Dog system, it turns out that this ghost spring crystal is actually used here. 9 generations of villains, the heroines have all turned evil." Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 234. Zhang Chen couldn't understand it at all. How could Xuanhuan turn into Xuanhuan ghost fox? He knew very well that if he wanted to become the Xuanhuan ghost fox, he had to burn his body to refine his soul, and he only had a few hours to live. Even a madman cannot do these things without great determination. This time the plot was so bad that it was simply outrageous. If he hadn't suddenly palpitated, looked around for no reason, and finally noticed Xuanhuan's existence, Xuanhuan might really feel cold. Dog system. Zhang Chen cursed in his heart again. The good news is, Xuanhuan ghost crystal can extend Xuanhuan's life and help him shape his ghost body. In this way, Xuanhuan will no longer have to worry about his life in a short period of time. He placed the Xuanhuan ghost crystal on Xuanhuan and then jumped down from the tree. We still need to find a spiritual weapon that can accommodate ghosts, Zhang Chen whispered as he raised his head and glanced at the sky. Although Zhu Shuang's current strength is comparable to that of a monk in the upper four realms. But ghosts are ghosts after all. The reason why Guiling Xuanhuan can gather thousands of ghosts is because it is hidden from the sky all year round and its geographical location is suitable for ghosts to live. If it is directly exposed to sunlight, even Su Mo, the ghost master of Guiwen, will be affected. Fortunately, the ghost energy now covers hundreds of miles and the bright sun is gone, otherwise he would not know how to take Zhu Shuang away. Zhang Chen regretted it endlessly. The ghost control sect has countless spiritual weapons that can accommodate ghosts. Especially the ghost control tower is the best spiritual weapon to accommodate and nourish ghosts. Helpless, he ran away too fast and did not loot the ghost control section. Returning now would be too risky. For the time being, let's travel at night. After we get the spiritual weapon that can accommodate ghosts, we can move during the day, Zhang Chen finally decided. He glanced at the ghostly aura above his head and shook his head helplessly again. He didn't need to think twice to know that this ghostly aura must be caused by Su Mo, but he didn't know what the madness of this female ghost was. At this moment, Zhu Shuang has fallen into a deep sleep, and Yuquan ghost crystal is helping him shape his ghost body. Zhang Chen made a rough estimate and it should take several days of work. To be cautious, he found a more secluded grotto, where he planned to wait for Chen Sheng and Xiao Hong'ai to arrive. But when he arrived in front of the grotto, his pupils suddenly shrank. He could clearly feel that the spiritual energy around him was quickly becoming thinner, as if someone is setting up a formation. Zhang Chen suddenly opened his eyes. The moment the words fell, many obscure symbols appeared on the soles of his feet, and then a bright divine light, like a turtle shell-like formation, quickly rose. In just an instant, it covered dozens of miles of land. Immediately afterwards, a middle-aged man wearing a grey robe and holding a formation plate appeared high in the sky. My name is Zhang San. Zhang Chen, today is the day you die, the middle-aged man said coldly. Zhang San. Zhang Chen sneered. He didn't believe that someone with such a popular name could set up this 8th level formation. Need to know. The formation of the first-class sect in the central region is only at the 8th level. This person can control and arrange things by himself. He must be a monk from the upper realm. The name of Zhang San must be a pseudonym. Zhang Chen, let's catch you. This formation is called the Locking Dragon and Turtle Formation. Outside, the monks in the upper four realms cannot detect the movement. Inside, even if you crush the jade slip, you can't spread this formation. Zhang San said evil words. Don't try to resist. Your protector has been blocked from the formation. This formation will never be broken unless monks who have transcended the upper four realms arrive. You and I have no grudges, but I am also entrusted by others to take your life. He said again. Zhang Chen didn't reply, his mind moved, and an ancient clock appeared beside him. Dragon Cauldron General's ancient bell. Zhang San's pupils shrank. Your ancestor of the Zhang family is really willing to give this thing to you. The array path is complicated, and it consumes energy on the alchemy path. Although you come from the upper realm, your cultivation level is definitely not high. Zhang Chen asked back, if I hide in this ancient bell, what can you do to me? Zhang San seemed to have expected these words. Yes, my cultivation is not at the level of supernatural power, but I am a cautious person, so. Having said this, he shouted in the distance, Brother Wang, show up. The words fell. There was a swish sound, and a slightly fat middle-aged man appeared next to Zhang San. My name is Wang Yi. The fat middle-aged man grinned. Seeing Zhang Chen's disdainful look, he added, it just so happens that I am also a cautious person. After I learned that the target of the attack was you, the young master of the Zhang family, I roped in my brothers and sisters from the same section. Then, there were several more swish sounds. Several figures appeared behind Wang Yi. Although their cultivation levels were different, they were all in the upper four realms. Such a big battle made Zhang Chen click his tongue. In order to deal with him, a Xuanhuan monk, so many monks from the upper four realms came. Do you want some more face? If other Xuanhuan cultivators were to encounter such a siege, they would surely die without a chance to survive. But Zhang Chen was right. Because even if these people attack at the same time, as long as he hides in the ancient artifact, he will have to wait until Chen Sheng and Xiao Hong'ai find a way to save them. As if she had read through his thoughts, an ugly-looking woman stepped forward and said, "My name is Wang Lu, and I have always been timid. Therefore, I specially invited my ancestor to come here this time. You don't mind, right?" Zhang Chen didn't have time to reply. Ha ha ha. An old man, as short as a dwarf, appeared out of thin air while laughing. Zhang Chen. There's no need to give a false name. You can commit suicide, the old man said in a tone that left no room for doubt. Hear the words. Zhang Chen's eyes suddenly opened wide. Because a sense of despair and helplessness really emerged in his heart. And under the control of these two emotions, he actually had the thought of committing suicide. Say what you say. Nirvana, Zhang Chen's face darkened. As expected of the young master of the Zhang family, at least he has a good vision. The old man smiled lightly. Zhang Chen, I don't want to offend the Zhang family, but I have no choice but to offend someone who shouldn't be offended. Haha, what a joke, Zhang Chen laughed. How dare a mere Dangu pagoda say that he should not be offended? This statement made everyone at high altitude look stiff. They didn't expect it. Zhang Chen could actually tell at a glance who was the mastermind behind this. What they don't know is, Zhang Chen is really experienced in similar things. First, looking at the entire middle territory, the only force that has the strength to drive the monks from the upper territory is Dangu Pagoda. Secondly, in his 9th reincarnation, Zhang Chen has been assassinated and encircled many times, almost all of which were caused by Dangyuda. Of course, there is another possibility. The dynasty wanted to get rid of him. But this possibility was quickly ruled out by Zhang Chen, because the Zhang family would not be destroyed and the dynasty would not dare to mess around. Again, if the dynasty really wanted to take action against him, it wouldn't be these rubbish that came. Yes, it's just garbage. Although these people are monks from the upper realm, judging from the fact that they gave false names and kept their heads hidden, they must not have enough confidence to take revenge against the Zhang family. Although you are a monk from the upper realm, you are just a dog from Dangu Pagoda, Zhang Chen said again. After hearing these words, everyone was furious. Don't get into a verbal quarrel with this kid. Let's decide quickly. I'll go up together first and give him a try, said Zhang Sand, holding the array disc. Good. Everyone come together, don't hold back. The Zhang family should not be underestimated. This boy might have some valuable treasures on him. Remember, don't use techniques that are too conspicuous. The ancestors of the Zhang family have great magical powers and may be able to recall the situation at this time. It doesn't matter, not only are our names fake, but our faces are also fake. Zhang Chen, this is a decisive blow. Die. While speaking, everyone rushed towards Zhang Chen. 9 generations of villains, the heroines have all turned evil. Author, Fu Zituo. Chapter 235. Except for Zhang San in the supernatural realm and the old man in the nirvana realm, several others from the upper 4 realms took action at the same time. Their power was so powerful that it shook the void. There is no doubt about it. Any Xuanhuan cultivator, faced with such a dangerous situation, would definitely be able to kill him without any doubt. But Zhang Chen didn't panic at all. Since he knew that Dangyuda would adopt such methods of assassination and encirclement and suppression, how could he be unprepared? Glancing at the people from the upper 4 realms who came to kill him, he looked calm. A golden talisman appeared in his left hand, with 8 cinnabar bloodlines engraved on it, and a big bloody broken character in the center. When this object came into view, the monks who were attacking all froze and said in disbelief. The formation-breaking talisman. And it's still the 8th grade. The so-called formation-breaking talisman is that the formation master seals his thoughts and feelings in the golden talisman. At critical moments, he only needs to activate the talisman to forcefully break the formation. The level of the formation-breaking talisman is linked to the blood seal on it. An 8th grade formation-breaking talisman can break all formations below the 8th grade. In other words, at this moment, as long as Zhang Chen presses the talisman in his hand, the dragon-locking turtle formation will be broken instantly. At that time, if Zhang Chen crushes the sound transmission jade slip again, the Zhang family will descend instantly. Looking at the attackers who were full of murderous intent a second ago but now looked horrified, Zhang Chen shook his head and sneered. He felt that these people were all evil and a group of frogs in a well. True. These people had all investigated him and acted very cautiously. In order to deal with him, the Xuanhuan monk, even the ancestors of the Nirvana realm moved out. But how can these garbage people understand the power of the Zhang family? As the only son of the Zhang family, he didn't have many other things, but he had a lot of life-saving items. On the other hand, look at other people. The original situation of absolute death was reversed by a broken formation talisman at this moment, which made the monks who attacked all have their faces sinking. Zhang Chen, just pretend I haven't been here today. A monk immediately planned to leave. Wang Er. Are you going to retreat? Another monk asked loudly. Humph. Wang Er snorted coldly and replied, now that we can't kill him, why don't we stay and wait for the Zhang family's revenge? The speaker of this remark was speechless. For a time, many monks thought about leaving. Ha ha ha, suddenly, the formation monk named Zhang San burst into laughter. Seeing that everyone was looking at him, he smiled and said, I have said before that I am a cautious person, so this 8th grade formation is just an appearance. Appearance. The companions were puzzled and cast inquiring looks. Don't worry, everyone, let's take a look at mine. Zhang San smiled proudly and shot a spiritual light into the array disc in his hand. All of a sudden, the array disc rotates and spiritual energy gathers on it. Under his control, the dragon-locking turtle array's stream of light reversed, and the divine light diffused and gathered, shooting straight into the sky from 5 directions like pillars. Just like 5 divine pillars, standing on the earth, locking the sky and the earth. Array Master. Seeing this, Zhang Chen narrowed his eyes. Ha ha. Let's show our cards, stop pretending. Zhang San laughed and said with a proud expression, yes, I am the master of the formation. In fact, the full name of this formation is the 5-pillar locking dragon entrapment formation. Its level has surpassed the 8th level, although it is not as good as the 9th level, but just with the 8th level formation breaking talisman cannot be broken. When these words were heard, everyone was stunned. After coming back to their senses, the monks from the upper 4 realms who had just been attacked all said speechlessly. Fellow deist Zhang, you are too cautious. Yes, it was just your caution that turned the situation around. They say that fellow deist Zhang is super powerful, but overly cautious. I didn't believe it before, but now I know that the rumors are true. Young deist Zhang's skill amazes me. Even the old man in the Nirvana realm raised his thumb and praised, friend deist Zhang, you are hiding so much. He he. Zhang San smiled calmly and waved his hand modestly, indicating that he would not do anything wrong. He looked at Zhang Chen again and said proudly, how is it? Zhang Chen, you didn't expect it, did you? I really didn't expect it. Zhang Chen nodded honestly. Ha ha ha. Hearing this, Zhang San laughed. Although Zhang Chen is an enemy, Being able to exceed the expectations of the young master of the Zhang family obviously makes him feel more comfortable. I didn't expect that Deng Pagoda really spent a lot of money this time, and even invited you, the formation master Zhang Chen added. Zhang San was stunned. What does it mean? Didn't you expect that he was so strong yet so cautious? Why should we pay attention to him? A monk answered, since he can no longer break the formation and send messages, we will make a quick decision. This statement was unanimously approved by the others. The next second, several monks from the upper four realms rushed towards Zhang Chen again. But halfway through the rush, they were stunned again. Because Zhang Chen was not in a hurry, he took out another page from the spiritual ring, a golden talisman with 9 cinnabar and blood patterns. 9th grade formation breaking talisman. A monk immediately screamed in shock. Zhang San, who was good at formations, kept rubbing his eyes, wondering if he had seen it wrong. That is the 9th grade formation breaking talisman. Not to mention the middle realm, even the upper realm is very rare. The value of this page of 9th grade formation breaking talisman alone far exceeds the entire background of many second-rate sects in the Central Territory. At this moment Zhang San wanted to ask. As for that, is the Zhang family so arrogant as to hand over such a valuable treasure to Zhang Chen and let him run around with it? And while everyone was shocked, there is something I forgot to tell you. Holding the talisman, Zhang Chen grinned, actually, I am also very cautious. Everyone was speechless. Zhang San sighed, he couldn't compare, really couldn't compare. It's not that he couldn't compare in terms of caution, but that he couldn't compare in terms of financial resources. The Fenling Zhang family is simply inhumane. Zhang Chen, just pretend I haven't been here this time. The monk Wang Er was about to run away again. This time, no one stopped him. Because everyone knew. With the 9th grade array breaking talisman in hand, Zhang Chen could contact the Zhang family at any time. Unless, before Zhang Chen could break the array and send a message, he was killed directly. And the only one who could do this was. Thinking of this, everyone looked at the dwarf old man behind them. For them, Nirvana realm is not so easy to invite. And this time, the dwarf old man came, and he had already agreed to only hold the formation and not take action. If he took action, it would definitely be a sky-high price. Please help, Mr. Zhao. Zhang San bowed his hands with a stiff face. My price is not cheap. The old man narrowed his eyes. In addition to the agreed reward, everything on this kid will belong to me. This. Zhang San hesitated. But soon, he nodded, indicating that he had no objection. This is a very simple choice. Escape, nothing, and there is a possibility of revenge from the Zhang family. And asking the old man to help, at least can repay the favor of Deng Gyuda and gain a lot of money. After looking at each other, the others had no objection. The old man smiled with satisfaction, stepped forward in the air, looked directly at Zhang Chen and said, Zhang Chen, you are indeed very cautious, and you even brought out the 9th grade breaking array talisman. But, in the face of absolute strength, caution is useless. Really, Zhang Chen disdainfully, stroking the ancient bell beside him and said, do you know who the previous owner of this ancient bell was? Who? The old man frowned. It's my father. Oh? So. My father has not completely released the blood and essence bound to this ancient bell, and I can only control it simply. Guess what will happen if I make this ancient bell explode? Hearing this, the old man's heart clicked. He knew it very well. If this is true, it means. The moment the ancient bell explodes, the Zhang family will notice it and come quickly. During this period, he may have enough strength to kill Zhang Chen. But he will definitely not be able to escape. Zhang Chen, pretend I haven't been here today. The old man clasped his fists and prepared to run away. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. 9 generations of villains, the heroines have all turned evil. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 236. The strongest old man has to run away, and the others naturally dare not stay any longer. After they all said never been here, they wanted to leave. But when everyone took a step forward, Zhang Chen's cold voice sounded, "Do I agree with you guys leaving?" "What do you mean?" the dwarf old man frowned. "Since you're here, you have to leave something behind, right?" Zhang Chen said matter-of-factly. Such an obvious threat made everyone feel unhappy. But it can't happen again. Now the situation has been reversed. If Zhang Chen is determined to shake people off, I'm afraid none of them will be able to leave. But what is left behind? What is it? It's fine if it's property, but what if it's life? At this moment, everyone felt regretful. I thought that I had prepared enough this time to surround and kill Zhang Chen. But who would have expected? Zhang Chen had too many life-saving items on his body. And each one is more exaggerated than the other. This made it seem like they were surrounded by Zhang Chen. What they don't know is 9 reincarnations. Both Deng Gyuda and Lin Fen tried to kill him several times. How could he survive until the finale if he didn't have some life-saving items at the bottom of the box? To know. With the Zhang family's strength, if they weren't worried about attracting the dynasty's attention, they could even give Zhang Chen some offensive treasures that far exceeded his level. "Zhang Chen, don't be aggressive. If we risk our lives, you won't escape death either," a monk shouted loudly. Zhang Chen didn't reply, he just looked at the dwarf old man with a faint smile. The dwarf old man understood instantly. His palm turned into a knife and he slashed in the air. The next second, I saw a flash of inspiration. Ah! The right arm of the monk who made the sound was strangely cut off, and blood splattered everywhere. When the other monks saw this, they were all dripping with cold sweat, but they did not dare to speak. "Is this enough?" the dwarf old man asked. "Not enough, far from enough." Zhang Chen's voice became even colder, and his tone left no room for doubt. "Everyone should leave an arm, otherwise we will both die today." The old dwarf frowned again. "Per person? Doesn't it mean that he will also kill himself? If the arm has high-grade elixirs, it can still regenerate, but if the life is lost, it will be a disaster," Zhang Chen reminded with deep meaning. "But before that, you will die," the old man threatened coldly. "You can try," Zhang Chen replied instantly. The old man was silent again. Nirvana realm cultivation may be at the top level in the middle realm, but it is not good enough in the upper realm. He doesn't want to die. But I don't want to be threatened. So, he planned to give it a try. Give Zhang Chen a try to see if he has the consciousness to die together. Suddenly, he narrowed his eyes slightly and grabbed Zhang Chen directly with a pair of experienced hands. Seeing this, Zhang Chen's heart moved. The suspended ancient bell began to tremble violently and swayed from side to side. Boom! Boom! The bells kept ringing. And every time the bell rang, the coercion and spiritual power contained in the ancient bell spread out like an ocean, with a faint tendency to explode. Finally, the old man took back his hand. At the same time, the ringing and trembling of the bell disappeared, and everything returned to normal. After taking a closer look at Zhang Chen, the old man came to a conclusion in his heart. This Zhang Chen is really a ruthless person. A ruthless man who can do anything if he is forced into a desperate situation. But even so, the old man still hesitated. After all, being forced to kill oneself by a younger generation is really hard to accept. Escape is a good idea. But he wasn't sure if his speed could surpass Zhang Chen's speed. If you can't, then you will have to pay for your life. You should be happy that I don't have a way to kill you all, otherwise, you will all die today, Zhang Chen said again. Hearing this, the expressions of the old man and others became more solemn. And just then, boom! A deafening sound sounded from high in the sky. When everyone looked up, they were all stunned. I saw a 9-story tower dozens of feet high, spinning rapidly and finally hitting the top of the formation. Click! A clear voice sounded. The formation that surpassed the 8th level was directly smashed into a big hole. Immediately afterwards, the tower flew in from the outside and hit several upper 4th realm monks. Before these monks could react, they were directly smashed to death by the tower and instantly burped. This is a divine spiritual weapon. The dwarf old man's pupils shrank immediately. The same is true for Zhang Chen. But he was even more shocked. Because he found that the tower in front of him was very familiar, it seemed. The Ghost Control Tower of the Ghost Control sect. After the shock, Zhang Chen discovered again. There were 2 figures of old men on the Ghost Control Tower that had smashed a deep pit into the ground. Zhang Chen didn't recognize one of them. But the other person was very familiar to him. It was the ancestor of Xuanhuan who was holding the jade coffin. Floating down from the Ghost Control Tower, the Xuanhuan ancestor said with a violent aura, "Who dares to touch my disciples of the Xuanhuan sect? Nine Yan sect? Are you the ancestor of Xuanhuan?" The dwarf old man was shocked when he heard this. After checking the cultivation level of the ancestor of Xuanhuan, he was even more horrified. "I just can't understand it. This means that the ancestor of Xuanhuan's cultivation has surpassed the upper 4 realms." The old dwarf suddenly broke into a cold sweat. He knew that Xuanhuan sect had become a demon sect, and Xuanhuan Patriarch had also become a spirit state. But he clearly remembered. At this moment, Xuanhuan Patriarch should be in Xuanhuan sect. How could he suddenly appear here? Zhang Chen was also puzzled, and immediately cast an inquiring look at Xuanhuan Patriarch. "I just passed by," Xuanhuan Patriarch replied in seconds. "I just happened to pass by," Lanyuan Patriarch Fan Tong added. "I don't believe you," Zhang Chen complained in his heart. How could he pass by the Yugui sect? And he brought the sect's divine spiritual weapon? "Don't pay attention to the details." Xuanhuan Patriarch stroked his beard and smiled, saying, "Just tell me, how do you want them to die? Go crazy, or go crazy." Zhang Chen was speechless. He instantly understood that this Xuanhuan Patriarch should be crazy too. He couldn't help but sigh. The dog system is awesome. The toxic buff added to him could make a character like Xuanhuan Patriarch crazy. After taking another look at Xuanhuan Patriarch, Zhang Chen suddenly guessed, "Ancestor, you didn't rob the Yugui sect, did you?" "How is that possible?" Xuanhuan Patriarch denied. "I just took advantage of the vacancy of the ghost sect to keep it for you." Zhang Chen was speechless again. With a turn of his eyes, he said, "I lurked in the Yugui sect for the sect, and faced danger many times. My contribution is second to none. You should give me some of the foundation of the Yugui sect, right?" "Sure, this Yugui tower is yours," Xuanhuan Patriarch replied in seconds. This made Zhang Chen stunned. He thought that he still needed to bargain before he could get the Yugui tower. Unexpectedly, although his ancestor was crazy, he was very generous in his madness. What he didn't know was, if he hadn't gone to the Yugui sect wouldn't have been destroyed today, and Patriarch Xuanhuan wouldn't have been able to take advantage of the opportunity to rob it. His contribution is indeed second to none. Seeing that the two had finished talking, the dwarf old man, who didn't dare to move, gritted his teeth and cut off one of his arms. Blood was spilt, and his left arm fell off. He endured the pain and asked Zhang Chen, "Now, can I leave?" "Of course, I can't," Zhang Chen grinned. "Just now, I couldn't kill them, so I let these people cut off one of their arms. But now I can kill them. If I don't kill them, will I keep them for the new year?" And sensing his killing intent, the dwarf old man looked at Patriarch Xuanhuan again. "Zhang Chen is right," Patriarch Xuanhuan nodded. Every word is precious, Patriarch Lanyun added. 9 generations of villains, the heroines have all turned evil. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 237. The old dwarf regretted it. If he had known that he would inevitably die today, he should have tried his best to at least kill Zhang Chen, the young master of the Zhang family. But now, the arm was broken early, and the body was left intact. Soon the old man calmed down again. Although the Julian ancestor's cultivation has surpassed the upper 4 realms, he is still in a divine soul state, and he may be able to try to escape. Thinking of this, the old man's eyes showed a ruthless look, and he grabbed Zhang San on the side and threw him towards the ancestor of Julian. Before Zhang San could react, he was hit on the head by Julian Patriarch's jade coffin, and he lost his breath instantly. Taking advantage of this period, the old man ran away. Humph, want to run? Ancestor Julian was disdainful and said in a cold voice, Fan Tong, carry the coffin. Good. Fan Tong, the ancestor of Lan Yuan, was about to carry the jade coffin on his back. Then, a powerful soul power poured into his body, and his body was controlled by the ancestor of Julian. It is worth mentioning that Fan Tong was originally in the creation realm of the upper 4 realms, but after watching countless 9 lifetimes of retrospection, his spiritual understanding increased rapidly, and now he has become a monk in the supernatural power realm. This can be considered a great blessing among misfortunes. After possessing him, the ancestor of Julian did not choose to pursue him, but flicked his fingers. The next moment, a bolt of spiritual light as big as a grass flew out from his fingertips. The grass looked ordinary, but it contained unique power. Its speed was so fast that it pierced the chest of the running old man in an instant. And after the hit, with a sound of boom, the Lingmao exploded together with the old man's body. In an instant, flesh and blood were scattered in all directions. One move to achieve nirvana in seconds, Zhang Chen was dumbfounded. He felt vaguely. The ancestor of Julian in this life seems to be much stronger than the previous 9. There were 10 monks in total who came to attack Zhang Chen. Ancestor Julian smashed several people to death with the ghost control tower, and killed Zhang San, who was good at formations, with a jade coffin. At this moment, he also killed the dwarf old man, leaving only 4 ordinary monks in the upper 4th realm. At this time, the faces of these monks had turned pale, and their legs could not stop trembling. They regret it? Who would have thought? What was originally a desperate situation ended up with them being about to be wiped out. If they had known this, they would never have taken action against Zhang Chen. But at this moment, it's too late to say anything. If you want to survive, you can only. Zhang Chen, it was the idea of the great elder Dang Gyuda to kill you. We just owe Dang Gyuda a favor and must repay it. If you are willing to let me live, we are willing to do anything, named King the second monk immediately begged. It's okay to be a cow or a horse, but... Zhang Chen smiled ferociously and said, how about being a ghost? Ghost. Wang Er swallowed hard, his voice trembling. That's right, he is just a ghost. Zhang Chen stroked the fox in his arms and his expression remained as usual, my fox is condensing its ghost body. It needs to eat ghosts to enhance its cultivation and prolong its lifespan. Destroy your body, leaving only your soul, and then put it in this ghost control tower to nourish it into a ghost, just enough for Zhu Shuang to eat, he added. The moment the words fell, the behavior conforms to the villain setting, reward, the best skills of the ghost sect, strategies to control ghosts and demons. What? Hearing this, all the monks' faces turned pale. It's not enough to kill them, but also to eat their souls. There is no chance of reincarnation. It's better to give them a happy life directly. These words made the ancestor of Julian jump in his heart. He couldn't help but sigh. The people around Zhang Chen are all talents. Xiao Hong'ai and other madmen killed people in different ways. Now there is another fox, a fox that specializes in eating ghosts. In other words, after that, those who offended Zhang Chen not only died miserably, but also lost the chance to turn into evil ghosts after death. Ancestor Xuanhuan thinks. If it weren't for the 9 frost-devouring ghosts' cultivation limits, it couldn't exceed itself by too much. The old dwarf just now probably wouldn't die so easily. The control of the ghost control tower and the nourishment of ghosts require the assistance of ghost magic. Do you know ghost magic? Xuanhuan ancestor asked Zhang Chen. Not yet. Zhang Chen shook his head, then quietly closed his eyes. For the time being, Xuanhuan ancestor was puzzled and said, I will keep the secrets of the ghost control sect on your behalf, and I have a lot of ghost techniques in my hands that I can teach you. The word 11 has not been uttered yet. Zhang Chen suddenly opened his eyes and interrupted, I know now. Ancestor Xuanhuan was confused. What does it mean that you can't do it for the time being, but you can do it now? You mean you just learned it? He just wanted to say one thing at the moment. Now that we have an absolute advantage, can we not brag? To know. Even Lin Mubai, an innate Taoist, couldn't learn a ghost technique in such a short period of time. Zhang Chen did not explain this, but silently came to the fallen ghost tower. He touched the body of the tower with his hand, and the ghost magic was running inside his body. The ghost control tower was soon affected by the ghost's magic. It stood upright and slowly rotated and became smaller. Finally, it shrank to the size of a palm and fell into Zhang Chen's hands. This is the plan to control ghosts. Seeing this, the ancestor of Xuanhuan was speechless. Isn't this the plan to control ghosts and suppress the sect? I haven't even gotten it, how can you do it? What do you think? Zhang Chen grinned. I'm guessing. Ancestor Xuanhuan vomited in his heart. After calming down, he guessed that all of this must be related to the mysterious power that helped Zhang Chen. This kind of power is simply unbelievable, so it's best not to delve into it further. Withdrawing his gaze, the ancestor of Xuanhuan looked at the surviving monks. He squeezed it gently with both hands. Bang! Bang! Several explosions were heard, and the monks' bodies exploded instantly, turning into blood mist, leaving only their souls. Zhang Chen took the opportunity to activate his technique, and his breath turned into a black net, capturing these souls and forcing them into the ghost control tower. As expected of the ghost control sect's secret book, it actually allows you to capture and control the souls of monks in the upper 4 realms with Yuan Dan cultivation, Xuanhuan ancestor praised. Zhang Chen smiled and said nothing. Although his expression was calm, he was actually a little shocked. He originally thought that relearning other techniques with the help of the system would replace his previous ones. After all, Kung Fu is not a secret book, according to common sense. Unless they have some special physiques, ordinary monks should only be able to practice one technique. But who would have expected? His Dharma still exists. Not only did he not disappear, but he could switch back and forth between Buddhism and Ghost Dharma with just a thought. Extremely silky. If word of this gets out, I don't know how many people's jaws will be shocked. Putting aside the shock in his heart, Zhang Chen prepared to take the ghost tower into the Zi mansion. Such artifacts naturally need to be warmed and maintained by Zifu. But soon, he frowned. Because no matter how he operates the technique, he can only briefly control the ghost control tower, and cannot fully control it at all. This ghost control tower is bound to the essence and blood of the ghost control sect's ancestor, the old woman. If you didn't know the ghost sect's ghost suppression technique, you wouldn't even be able to control it, Xuanhuan ancestor explained. This was exactly why he was running around carrying the ghost control tower that was dozens of feet high. Fan Tong has experience in this matter and explained in detail, if you want to fully control the divine spiritual weapon, you must let the old woman take the initiative to unbind it, or let her die. You can't cultivate Yuan Dan now. Even if you can really control the ghost control tower, You don't have enough spiritual energy to support it. I think, keep it for now. When you cultivate to the fourth realm, I will kill the old woman. Yes, Julian Patriarch added. After understanding this, Zhang Chen nodded and no longer forced himself. Although he is the young master of the Zhang family, he has never come into contact with divine spiritual weapons. It's not that the Zhang family doesn't have it, but the Zhang family knows very well that even if it is given to him, he won't be able to use it with his cultivation level. And just when Zhang Chen was about to put the ghost ring into the ghost ring, sudden, the ghost tower has changed. Not only has the tower become dim, but the exclusive light of the divine spiritual weapon is also showing signs of slowing down. Is this, the old woman has died? The ancestor of Julian couldn't believe it. 9 generations of villains, the heroines have all turned evil. Author, Fu Zituo. Chapter 238. Go back in time, a few quarters of an hour ago. 10,000 ghosts fought with the ghost control sect, and the sky was dark and the earth was dark, and the void was shaking. Although the ghost controlling ancestor is at the same level as Suemo, due to the previous sneak attack, at first one person and one ghost were evenly matched. However, as time goes by, the ghost controlling ancestor has been retreating steadily. Ancestor, this ghost is powerful, so hurry up and get the ghost control tower. Seeing that the ghost control ancestor was repelled, a supreme elder suggested. The ghost control ancestor was silent and slightly hesitant. This time I didn't bring the ghost control tower, mainly because I thought my opponent was the Julian sect, and after all the ghosts among them were eliminated, the ghost control tower had a strong restraint effect on the ghosts. Although the ghost control tower is bound to her essence and blood, it is 100 miles away from the ghost control sect and cannot be summoned directly, so she has to go and get it. But it's too risky to pick it up now. After all, the ghost control sect is already at a disadvantage now. If her ancestor leaves, the rest of the ghost control sect may not be able to sustain it for too long. At this time, the ghost control patriarch thought of Zhang Chen again. Then he gritted his teeth with hatred. If Zhang Chen hadn't wiped out all the ghosts in the ghost tower, she wouldn't have faced such a situation. Ancestor, there is no time to hesitate. I will stop Suemo for you first, and you go back as soon as possible, a supreme elder said urgently. Okay. Don't fight with him, try to contain him as much as possible. When I get the ghost control tower, I will put the Suemo into the ghost tower and refine it, the ghost control ancestor warned. After saying this, she turned into a stream of light and left. Seeing this, Suemo in the distance immediately frowned slightly. She sensed the intention of the ghost control ancestor and wanted to catch up and stop him, but was blocked by several supreme elders of the ghost sect. Get out of the way or die, Suemo threatened in a vicious voice. When everyone heard this, their hearts skipped a beat, but they did not flinch. Han Kun, the supreme elder, stepped forward and said, fellow deist Su, why did you have to risk the life and death of Guiling Xuanhuan and Yugui sect for a mere Zhang Chen? If we continue to fight, one of them will be destroyed today. You know shit. Suemo swore directly, do you know how lonely and boring I am in the ghost abyss? It has been 1,000 years, and I finally met a man who can make me fall in love. I have to grab it? Actually, there are many good men in this world, such as my grandson. Han Kun continued to persuade. But he didn't finish his words. Shut up. Just like you, your grandson must be extremely ugly, Suemo interrupted sharply. Han Kun's face darkened. Why return a personal attack? With the idea of stalling for time, he added, fellow Taoist, think about it carefully. If Zhang Chen is really in the ghost control sect, why is our sect unwilling to hand it over? He is not a disciple of our sect. Who knows, Suemo looked disdainful, what if it's that old woman who covets Zhang Chen's man? Han Kun was immediately stunned. Because he knew very well that the old woman Suemo mentioned was the ancestor of the ghost control. He just wanted to say something to Suemo at the moment. Was there any mistake? The ancestor is already a very old man, how could he do such a ridiculous thing? Who do you think is a female ghost like you? Of course, you can't say these things directly. If you say it, you will be beaten. Helpless, Han Kun had no choice but to continue. Fellow Taoist, I have a suggestion. How about we put down the fight for the time being, and you return to the sect with us and look for Zhang Chen on your own? Do you think I'm stupid? Suemo rolled his eyes. Who knows where you hid Zhang Chen? Besides, I don't want to see the power of the ghost sex formation and the ghost control tower. Han Kun was speechless. He found. There is no way to talk at all today. But we still have to talk if we can't stop talking, otherwise how can we delay time? Fellow Taoist. Han Kun wanted to speak again. Before he finished speaking, his voice stopped abruptly. He suddenly realized. A ghost general who was comparable to the supernatural realm touched his back without knowing when. Die. The ghost general started to attack boldly, and the ghost claw suddenly grabbed out. At close range, Han Kun wanted to resist, but was suppressed by Sumo's unique aura of nirvana, causing the energy and blood in his body to stagnate, making him unable to move. At this moment, Han Kun finally understood. He was stalling for time just now, but Suemo used a trick and let his men quietly touch his back. Its purpose is to kill with one hit now. You ghost girl, you are so shameless, Han Kun said with blood pouring from his mouth as the ghost claw pierced his chest. I've said it many times, I'm a ghost, why do I need face? Suemo glanced at him with a look of disdain. Han Kun was speechless and could not rest in peace. The next second, the ghost retracted its claws, and the lifeless Han Kun fell to the ground from a height, and was eaten by countless ghosts below. After seeing such a scene, all the surviving elders of the ghost control sect felt their scalps go numb. Being reduced to ghost food means that the soul will also be devoured, without any chance of reincarnation. He saw Suemo looking towards him. Female ghost. I will never do what you want. One of the supreme elders risked his life and rushed towards Suemo. Halfway through. Just listen to the sound of bang. This supreme elder actually chose to self-destruct. The majestic spiritual power swept all around in an instant, making everyone in the ghost control sect look horrified. Facing the impact, Suemo remained motionless. With just a flick of his sleeves, he fanned away the incoming spiritual hurricane. She then looked at the other supreme elders of the ghost control sect and said, "Aren't you going to self-destruct?" Hearing this, the faces of all the supreme elders were as dark as water. On the other side, the Yugui sect. In just a moment, the Yugui patriarch crossed 100 miles and arrived above the sect. What she saw was a ruin. The sect's formation collapsed, the disciples' houses collapsed, and the sect's roads cracked. Even the sect's main hall was gone. With his spiritual sense covering him, the Yugui patriarch quickly found the remaining grand elder surnamed Li in the ruins. At this time, Elder Li was lying in the ruins, with a weak breath and multiple injuries. Barely alive. What happened? Yugui patriarch asked in front of Elder Li. Cough cough. Elder Li coughed violently, and it took a long time before he finally said a complete sentence. Ancestor. That Julian patriarch is a robber and a bandit. He personally blasted the sect's formation, and then robbed all the foundation of our sect. Even the Yugui Tower. What happened to the Yugui Tower? Yugui patriarch was shocked. Even the ghost control tower was taken away by Julian patriarch. No. Julian demon patriarch. This person is too cruel. He didn't leave us any foundation. When saying this, Elder Li was already crying. Hearing this. Boom. The ghost control patriarch was struck by lightning. She couldn't believe it. After turning around, she appeared in an empty space. She remembered clearly. This was where the ghost control tower was, but now, there was only an empty space left. Not only the ghost control tower was gone. Even the 9 chains that locked the tower made of top-grade black iron were directly pulled away. Beast. Robber, the ghost control patriarch beat his chest and stamped his feet, tears streaming down his face. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. 9 generations of villains, the heroines have all turned evil. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 239. The ghost-controlling ancestor was really enlightened. The ghost-controlling sect is a 1,000-year-old demon sect, and it is also notorious. As an old ancestor, she also did some things that made the righteous people grit their teeth when she was young. But the old ancestor also wants to save face. She will never personally go out and do such robbery. At this moment, the sect was destroyed, the foundation was looted, and the ghost-controlling tower of the sect was taken away. It is no exaggeration to say that today's ghost-controlling sect is almost destroyed. It's really impossible not to accept it, the ghost-controlling ancestor side. Compared with the 9 Yan ancestor, she, the ancestor of the ghost-controlling sect, is simply too kind. Suddenly, the ghost-controlling ancestor thought of Jiang Chen again. She regretted it. She regretted it so much that she wanted to hit her head against a wall. If she hadn't wanted to marry Jiang Chen, if she hadn't kept Jiang Chen as a guest in the ghost-controlling sect, the ghost-controlling sect would not have fallen to this point today. At this moment, she was finally certain that Jiang Chen must be the leader for Juyan sect. Juyan sect first asked Jiang Chen to come to Yugui sect, causing unrest in Yugui sect, and killed thousands of ghosts in Yugui tower, and then colluded with Sui, the ghost master, to turn against them temporarily. Finally, while Yugui sect and Guiling Soul Abyss were fighting, the Juyan patriarch came to rob in person. What a good plan! Juyan sect not only deceived all the Juyan soul fetuses of Gui sect, but also got all the foundation of Gui sect without any effort. Such a sect that does not distinguish between good and evil and is only interested in profit. Even the demon sect is ashamed of itself. It is too late to understand these now, and what needs to be thought about is the way to break the deadlock. Who? Slowly exhaling a breath of turbid air, Yugui patriarch used blood essence to detect the location of Yugui tower. Soon, her eyes suddenly opened. Yugui tower is indeed in the hands of Juyan patriarch. Not far from the Yugui sect, a formation beyond the 8th grade was set up. She couldn't investigate the situation inside the formation, but guessed. The person who set up the formation should be from the upper domain. The purpose should also be for Jiang Chen. After all, only Jiang Chen can attract the monks from the upper domain. The dilemma she faces now is, she dare not rob the Yugui tower. Without the Yugui tower, she can't fight against Sui. It's a good idea to capture Jiang Chen and give it to Sui, but the problem is, now the monks from the upper domain are attacking Jiang Chen. She can't even break the formation beyond the 8th grade, so how can she capture Jiang Chen? After analyzing it, finally, the Yugui patriarch got an answer. This is completely finished. The divine consciousness once again cast towards the battle between the ghost-rich soul abyss and the ghost sect, and the Yugui patriarch looked even more solemn. At this moment, the ghost sect's supreme elders are self-destructing one after another. They want to delay time and resist Sui in this way, counting on her to rescue. The ghost-controlling ancestor wanted to rescue, but he didn't have the ability. She was very sure that if she turned back at this time, she would die at the hands of Sui. Since the situation is irreversible, then there is only. The ghost-controlling ancestor showed a cruel look in his eyes, and an idea emerged in his mind. Escape. Abandon the sect. In fact, the demon sect is also very united, otherwise it would have been destroyed by the righteous way long ago. After the idea of escaping emerged in his mind, the ghost-controlling ancestor also had a strong sense of guilt. But after thinking about it, she was relieved again. The Julian ancestor taught her a lesson. Let her understand. As an ancestor, you should be shameless enough. Only in this way can you become the ultimate winner. And she is the ancestor of the ghost-controlling sect. As long as she doesn't die, the ghost-controlling sect will not be destroyed, and even if it is destroyed, it can be rebuilt. After making up his mind, glancing at the battlefield again, the ghost-controlling ancestor turned into a stream of light and fled away. Her goal is the upper domain. The current central region has been made into a mess by the Julian section. Instead of staying here, it is better to go to the upper region to fight and see if you can make further progress. But she didn't run far. Suddenly, the sky and the earth changed color. Golden light shone everywhere. A golden Buddha, 100 feet tall, suddenly appeared, hanging between heaven and earth, blocking her way. Buddha Patriarch, the ghost control patriarch, was shocked. Donor, you have committed serious sins, and only salvation can be achieved. Buddha Patriarch clasped his hands together. The ghost control patriarch's face became even darker. She understood instantly. Now the Julian sect has become a demon sect and is hostile to the righteous sects. It should be because he noticed the movements of the Julian patriarch and the battle between the ghost-rich soul abyss and the ghost control sect, so the Buddha patriarch appeared here to investigate. Bald donkey, the Buddha temple and the ghost control sect have always kept their distance. Get out of the way, ghost control patriarch said in a deep voice. Amitabha, the righteous and the evil have different paths, but if they are the same path, they will fight. The Buddha patriarch uttered Buddhist sounds and smiled confidently. Donor, today, only one of us can leave. The ghost control patriarch's face turned black instantly. Buddhism has a strong restraining effect on ghost magic. Not to mention that she is now injured, even in her prime, she is not sure of defeating the Buddha patriarch. Helplessly, the ghost control patriarch had to choose to change direction and run away. Want to run? Seeing this, the Buddha patriarch used Buddhism to draw a ban, and the golden big hand directly grabbed the ghost control patriarch. The ghost control patriarch was forced to fight. And just when she was trying her best to activate the skills and was about to kill her way out, Zheng! The shocking sword sound suddenly appeared. A 7-color spirit sword attacked from the sky, with a faint tendency to break through the void, and pierced directly into her head. 7 Yao ancient sword, the ghost control patriarch was shocked again. She knew it very well. This is the divine sword of the 7 Stars Sword Pavilion. The appearance of this sword means ancient sword slays demons. Accompanied by a voice that seemed like a whisper but resounded throughout the universe. An old man with a white beard up to his chest, a straight figure, sword eyes and starry eyebrows also appeared in the air. 7 Stars Sword Ancestor, the ghost control ancestor was even more surprised. Yes. The person who came was the sword ancestor of the 7 Stars Sword Pavilion. Most of the ancestors of the first-class sects in the central region have a cultivation base of the late Nirvana, and the 7 Stars Sword Master is no exception. But the lethality of sword cultivators is far beyond that of ordinary cultivators. Therefore, although they are both in the late Nirvana realm, the strength of the 7 Stars Sword Master is definitely far superior to that of other sect ancestors except the 9 Yan ancestor. And the appearance of the 7 Stars Sword Ancestor proves that. The 7 Stars Sword Pavilion, which has always been practicing hard in seclusion, is about to come out. On the other hand, the ghost control ancestor. There were Buddhist restrictions all around her, and an ancient sword was attacking her head. A sense of despair emerged in her heart. She tried her best to resist. but she could only watch helplessly as the Seven Lights' ancient sword broke through her defense and then pierced her directly. In a flash of sword light, the ghost control ancestor's life was completely destroyed and fell from the air. After hitting the ground, a black and cold air emerged from her corpse, and then gathered into a human form at a speed visible to the naked eye. Seeing this scene, the Buddha ancestor sneered, "Want to use ghost magic to turn into a ghost? Today, I will make your soul fly away." After saying that, he flipped his right hand, and a golden bowl appeared in his palm. Throwing the golden bowl into the air, I saw 7-colored Buddha light shooting out from it like a pillar. At this time, the ghost control ancestor had a ghostly outline. In the Buddha's light, she screamed and cursed, but in the end she was still unable to resist the Buddha's light and fell completely. Daiyu saved a demon, which is a great merit. Looking at the Buddha, the Seven-Light Sword ancestor smiled. Daiu's sword just now was a sword that shocked the world, the Buddha also praised. And just as the two were bragging about business, 100 miles away, a middle-aged man in a black robe was standing in the air with a stunning woman. Both of them were wearing the clothes of the Wandao demon sect. "The ghost-controlling ancestor has fallen," the middle-aged man said. "Why didn't the sect master go to help just now?" the woman asked. "The Seven-Light Sword ancestor is too strong and I can't defeat him." The ancestors couldn't have failed to notice this. If they didn't show up, it means they felt there was no need to save him, the middle-aged man replied. The woman nodded and said no more. "Juxi, the situation in the central region has been in chaos, and the sect competition may be advanced. You need to improve your cultivation again. You must know that you are the hope of our sect to go to the upper region," the middle-aged man said again. The woman nodded again. As for Zhang Chen, after thinking for a while, the middle-aged man frowned. "The Yugui sect has fallen to such a state, it seems that it is just to marry him." "What does the sect master mean?" the woman frowned. "I think, let it go. 9 generations of villains, the heroines have all turned evil." Author, Fu Zituo. Chapter 240. The next day, the ancestor of Juyan left. Lin Mubai made some gains in the ghost tower, and decided to return to Juyan sect for retreat. Zhang Chen took Zhang Hu, followed not far behind by Xiao Hong'ai, and prepared to go to Danggu Pagoda. On the way, everyone arrived at a town called Hanjing City. Hanjing City has a special geographical location. It is covered with snow all year round and is bitingly cold. In the past, there were few monks coming and going here. But when Zhang Chen and others arrived here, they found thousands of monks with different costumes and genders lining up to enter the city. Seeing this, Zhang Chen was stunned. "Senior brother, it seems that the mysterious Bing realm is about to open." Zhang Hu sighed with emotion. "Yes." Zhang Chen nodded with a sad expression. "The mysterious realm of black ice opens once every 100 years. And this cold city is the only entrance to the secret realm. Although the secret realm is dangerous, there are all kinds of ice-attributed treasures, up to the 8th level. Therefore, every time the secret realm is opened, countless monks will flow into the cold realm city, which is the only entrance." Zhang Chen has been to the Xianbing secret realm. And not just once. Because there is an item in the secret area called blood tempering ice Ji, which is the perfect item to eradicate Zhang Lianyu's cold poison from the body. 9 reincarnations. Zhang Chen will enter the secret realm in every life and go through thousands of dangers. But no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't find any trace of the blood-quenching ice Ji. He knows. Because he is a villain, he has no chance of great opportunities. Helpless, he had to retreat and find a cold jade ice bed in the secret realm, hoping to use it to help Zhang Lianyu suppress the cold poison. But the result? In each life, when he gave the cold jade ice bed to Zhang Lianyu, the latter already had blood-quenching ice mushrooms in his hands. And this blood-quenching ice Ji was a gift from Lin Feng. Zhang Chen also found out later that Lin Feng would follow him every time he entered the secret realm. And the blood-quenching ice crystal is right next to the ice jade bed. When he arrives, the blood-quenching ice crystal will be hidden, and only the ice bed will remain. When Lin Feng arrives, the Bingji will appear on its own. This is the difference between the Destiny's Child and the villain. In front of the protagonist Lin Feng, no matter how hard Zhang Chen tried, his final results would definitely be inferior to him. Not only is it inferior, but it will also attract a lot of bad reputation. Thinking of these, Zhang Chen shook his head. Although Zhang Lianyu in this life is not as disgusting as the previous 9 lives, he is no longer the upright senior brother, so naturally he will not enter the secret realm again for him. He originally wanted to take a detour, but considering that Xuanhuan was still condensing his ghost body and that this place was still far away from Danggu Pagoda, he planned to enter the city for a short stay. Besides, it's better to get system rewards in places with a lot of people. After all, these are normal people. When we arrived at the city gate, the queue of monks stretched for several miles. Hey hey! After giving a sinister smile, Zhang Chen led Zhang Hu and walked directly towards the front of the team. You. I'm talking about you. Upon seeing this, a Tianyuan realm monk immediately yelled, "Do you understand the rules? Do you understand the queue? If you want to enter Hanjing City, even the upper 4th realm monks have to queue up." Zhang Chen didn't reply, but just winked at Zhang Hu. Zhang Hu suddenly realized that he immediately stepped forward and shouted, "You trash, how dare you talk about the rules? Let me tell you, my senior brother has the appearance of an emperor. His words are the rules. Under the upper 4 realms, my senior brother is invincible," he added. Wow! As soon as this statement came out, everyone was in an uproar. Seeing many monks glaring at him, Zhang Chen smiled with satisfaction. Undoubtedly. This hatred value is so high. This is why he likes to bring Zhang Hu with him. Because compared to other lunatics, Zhang Hu is relatively normal and has many ways to draw hatred, which are very easy to use. Joke. The Tianyuan realm monk who had spoken just now expressed his dissatisfaction and immediately sneered, "How dare you say that you are invincible even in the Earth Yuan realm? Tell me your senior brother's name and let me see which genius he is." "Say my senior brother's name, I'll scare you." Zhang Hu raised his chest and raised his head with a stern expression, "For your sake, I won't say it, but you can call him daddy." After hearing these words, the monk's face instantly darkened. Zhang Chen waved his hands, pretending to be dissatisfied. "Junior brother Zhang, how can you talk nonsense? How could I have such an ugly son?" Yes, senior brother is right." Zhang Hu bent down and nodded, then looked at the monk and said, "Forget it, when you see my senior brother in the future, you should just bark like a dog." The Tianyuan realm monks immediately became angry. "Don't be so insulting. And he didn't even dare to give his name, so he must have no big background. Boy, die." The monk suddenly burst out from the team and punched Zhang Hu, intending to test Zhang Chen's younger brother's strength first. Today's Zhang Hu is only an Earth Yuan cultivator, so he is naturally no match for him. Without any hesitation, he ran away. And just when the monk was about to give chase, Zhang Chen suddenly got angry. The Dharma in his body is running, and when he raises his hand, he will hit the mighty heavenly dragon. The Dharma was overwhelming, and the golden dragon suddenly appeared. Before the attacking monk could react, he was blasted away. After flying several feet away, he was unconscious with bleeding from his mouth. Seeing this, the other monks looked horrified. Zhang Chen can't reach the Earth Yuan realm, but he can cross the Tian Yuan level in seconds with one move. Isn't this too strong? Amitabha, it turns out he is a member of my Buddhist section. Upon seeing this, a casual monk, below, tried to make connections. "May I ask if the eminent monk is from the Buddha temple?" "What do you think, Zhang Chen asked back. Do you need to guess? Bald Donkey's face stiffened. He was determined. With such Buddhist teachings, he must be an eminent monk of the Buddha temple. And just when he wanted to say something again, the Buddha's light suddenly disappeared. Zhang Chen changed his ghost method, and a cold ghost energy emerged from his body. Shrouded in ghostly aura, his facial features were ferocious and his eyes were slightly red, making him look extremely terrifying. Then, I saw the ghost energy condensed into claws, and after grabbing the bald donkey's head, he threw it out again. What a coincidence, it happened to hit the previous monk. It's like stacking up arhats. I hate bald donkeys the most in my life, Zhang Chen muttered. Hearing this, everyone twitched their mouths. Beat those who challenge, and those who build relationships. Are you still being reasonable? More importantly, Zhang Chen used Buddhism and ghost methods for a while, making it impossible for people to see the real details. The Dharma of Buddhism should be the Buddha temple, and the Dharma of ghosts should be the ghost control sect. But these two, one righteous and one demon, one Buddha and one ghost, are natural opposites. How could they possibly cultivate disciples at the same time? Again, the ghost control sect has been destroyed. This person has a good background. He should have a special physique. He has practiced 2 techniques. Although he behaves arrogantly, he has the appearance of a great emperor. After thinking for a while, a monk in the upper 4th realm made a judgment. On the other hand, look at Zhang Chen. Seeing that no monks came out to cause trouble for him, he took Xuanhuan and walked towards the front of the team with extremely arrogant steps. Bold. This is Hanjing City. Even if you are the genius of the central region, you must abide by the rules. Pay the money and line up to enter the city. A person suddenly rushed in front of him and reprimanded loudly. Snapped. Before anyone could see clearly, Zhang Chen slapped him away with his backhand. He found out after beating the person. The man just now was wearing standard armor, and he looked like a soldier guarding Hanjing City. Well. Zhang Chen looked embarrassed. Wouldn't it be that as soon as he came up, he would face off against the city lord of Jingcheng? Simply, so exciting. If one is not done, the other will not be left behind. Rather than letting the city lord cause trouble first, it would be better to strike first. That's too much. I'm going to break through this cold city today. After saying that, he held the flame blood dragon sword and rushed towards the group of soldiers at the front. Seeing this, Zhang Hu was stunned. Kill, he also rushed forward. Xiao Hong'ai in the distance was also stunned. The next second, the phoenix fire surged into the sky, burning the monks who lined up and fled in all directions. It only takes a few quarters of hours. The soldiers guarding the cold city gate were wiped out collectively. Even the city gate, which was several feet high, was in danger of collapsing under the destruction of sword energy and phoenix fire. Seeing the mess, Zhang Chen shook his head and sighed, "Hey, why are you forcing me?" At the same time, the system prompt text appears. The behavior conforms to the villain setting, and the host's cultivation level has been upgraded to the early stage of Tianyuan.